Welcome to the UDP Broadcast, where a group of gamers get together and offer somewhat informed and uninformed opinions about the game industry and the state of things. I'm Luminary Weekly, and I'm joined today with IMEI, the Eternal Barcode,
Hello, I'm a barcode. Beep boop.
and Mr. Boombody of Mr. Boombody on Twitch.
Hello.
Today we've got a good docket. It's been in the news, circulating around for quite some time, mostly having to deal with Activision Blizzard King, and it has to deal with the employee walkouts, and there's even some unionization going on right now. In fact, that's probably where we're going to start, is the unionization portion of it. Personally, my experience with unions is not a great one, but of course I wasn't in the game developer industry, so it's not really focused on me. It's actually focused on the developers. So, Amy, what can a union bring to Activision Blizzard King?
Well, first off,
Scene change. We're
Oh,
consummate
that again?
professionals.
I said I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it, and I did it again. There we go.
Don't mind us.
anyways, so I am a unionized employee in the IT industry, and I fully support them because unions themselves, there are always going to be a cross section of society. So you're going to have good people who are really working hard for the members, really working hard on what's in their best interest, and then you're going to have the slackers and the idiots who just are in it for themselves or just don't give a shit. That's to be expected. However, overall, unions are amazing because they do have a couple fundamental things which really help uplift people. Number one is pay equity. Um, One of the biggest things employers like to do is they like to say, "Oh, we don't talk about our salary. We don't talk about how much you get paid or your benefits because it's private information." What they're doing there is they're basically saying, "We're when you have an employer that encourages the whole don't talk about anything." What they're actually saying is we have such a diverse amount of money we're paying for people, it's ridiculous. And typically, what that ends up being is that. Um, some of the worst performers will end up getting paid the most for doing the least, and some of the best performers will just keep getting more and more shit piled onto them till they reach their own personal breaking points, and there's no relief in sight. And it happens a lot more with women and people of color, where they end up getting more and more dumped on their plates for less pay than their white counterparts. So unions really make that difficult to allow to happen because everybody starts getting paid on the same scales at the same rates. So there's no discrepancies. There's no finding out that your coworker who's been working with you for 15 years and she's making 40% less than you but doing 3 times the work. You don't end up with shit like that because everybody is in that same classification is going to get the same pay and the same pay increases. The other big thing that unions bring to the table is they give you the ability to have real tangible benefits. And I mean healthcare benefits and leave benefits and parental leave benefits. Um, Not everybody has, or not every employer has any sort of a health benefit plan. Some of them don't even have retirement plans or even a 401k. And for us Canadians, that would be a RRSP plan, Registered Retirement Savings Plan. That's their 401k. So you have those, and then some of them don't even have pensions. And collective bargaining, what that allows you to do is to lay everything out and say, we're going to work for you under these conditions, and we want these conditions met. And that's another part I'll segue into really quickly is working conditions. One of the biggest things to hit the gaming industry every time release date is getting near is everybody's favorite, most hated buzzword, and that's crunch time. And that
Yeah.
has no place anywhere, whether that's at Microsoft or HP or Activision or anywhere else. That crunch time when you expect and almost demand your employees to put hundreds of hours a week into development of a product to ship for release date. Like, I understand because I've taken some project management courses. I understand that project managers try their best for the most part to work with the timelines they're given. Unionization allows you to push back against those timelines and say, no, you know, taking 2 years to develop a game that should take 5 years, and then your last 8 months is nothing but crunch time where people are working 24/7. That's ridiculous. That leads to high levels of burnout, leads to high levels of mental health issues, all kinds of stuff. And unions prevent that really, really well because they make sure that's in the collective bargaining agreement that says crunch time will not exist. And you will better manage your time. You will put in better timelines for your projects so we don't burn through staff.
That makes sense. It keeps the employers accountable for their actions, is what I'm getting out of this. And that's important because the developers and anybody that's involved in game creation is effectively shit on by deadlines, and those deadlines are pushed. Some places not so much than others. With respect to Activision Blizzard, I think the particular case has to deal with their contract work versus their full times. Yeah, so. And that's the other thing too, because I've been in the contract circuit for a period of time, and it's pretty brutal. It's a lot. It's a lot of high level work with pay that doesn't scale with where you're working.
Yep.
And it's just not fun. It really isn't. My experience with unions, I was actually. I'll get into that real quick. I had to go work for a Kroger company. Not going to say which one because that's going to pinpoint where I was. But
plausible deniability.
Yeah, just know that I was there. And in order to work for a Kroger company, all Kroger subsidiaries or divisions are all unionized in some way or another, be it if you're a meat slicer and whatnot. Mine just happened to be on the service side. And I'll tell you what it did for me. It allowed other employees to take my hours. And I wasn't okay with that at the time because, well, where I lived was expensive and less money is no bueno. But that's just a niche case for me. So having a better understanding, because just like you, I'm also in IT now. Understanding what that actually brings to the table is very important.
It is. It really is because it's so easy to mistreat employees from the employment or the employer side. There's very few times when you have people sticking up for you to help protect the workers. And what people don't really realize with business is HR is there strictly to protect the company and the employer. They're not there for employees. As much as we might want them to be there for us, they're not. Their job is to protect the company at all costs and ensure that everything for the company is done in the company's best interest. And it gets a little frustrating because there's so many people who get swept under the carpet and abused by this. And contract workers, I have a personal beef with them, but not a personal one. And it's all on the employer. My personal opinion is that a contractor who's working on a project that is more than 2 years in length must be converted to a full-time position. End of story. Because I've worked with contractors before, and the company I was working for paid under trying to figure out what I can say without doxing myself. We'll say, for example, they were making $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And there was 3 employees. That's $150,000 a year for the employees. The contract itself was worth about $1 million or more. And those employees, those contractors, only got the money, the salary. They got no paid vacation, no sick time, no pension, Nothing. Only the stuff they were legally required to deduct, and that was done on their end, not the employer. Because I'm not really sure how pay stuff works in the US, but in Canada, your employer will take off your Canada pension plan. It'll take you off your federal and your provincial taxes. The contractors, because they're independent contractors, had to do all of that themselves, which makes budgeting and lives a lot harder. And they should have been reaping the rewards we had as unionized employees of pension, health care, paid sick time, vacation time, like actual paid vacation. And they got none of that.
Yeah.
And for very short term projects, like 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years max, that's okay. Anything more than that, employers and unions have to fight to convert those positions to full-time positions, full-time employed positions, not contracted positions, because those employees, those contractors, are at risk of having a ton of stuff dumped on them for no added benefit. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but last year I was perusing Twitter per usual, and it was maybe 2020, and it was right after, about a year after the whole Me Too thing started, with everybody coming out, all these women coming out in the gaming industry about how they've been badly abused. This gentleman finally tweeted out about a year later and said, I didn't feel right about talking about it, when Me Too was at its height, but I need to talk about contracting in the gaming industry. And he went on to describe a situation where he'd been working on Heroes of the Storm. Initially, it was for some art pieces here and there for little token icons and everything else. And then they started dumping more and more work on him for the same amount of pay, but the deadlines were getting closer and closer and closer. And there was eventually uh, a management shift, a management change, and they never contacted again. They left him in limbo. He couldn't pursue other work. He couldn't pursue any other career options because he didn't know if he was A, still under contract, and B, when they were going to talk to him ever again. So eventually he got fed up and he went somewhere else, which I don't blame him. But converting his position to a full time employee under the union would have been a better option. And it would have allowed him to, do all that work with a lot less stress.
Trying to fix crit chicken here.
Oh, she got caught by the bots.
Yeah, the stream
The
elements
bots.
bot. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I would hope. I mean, we hear about more and more. I mean, yeah, around the Me Too time, there were a few people that Schreier has put out a few articles about whatnot. People talking about the way it is inside the gaming industry for developers and whatnot. And it's just it's a shame. It really is. And hopefully this will push forward a new day for the games industry, because it needs to evolve. It does.
Absolutely.
I mean, I in fact I would argue that 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 contractors for even a shorter amount of time, I feel like if you've been working for a company for a whole year, you should be an employee. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
I think 2 years is far too long.
It really, honestly, to me, it depends on the project.
I think it does. But I mean, if it's a finite project, not, and I mean, I would say that games could be a finite project, but I think that if I'm working for Blizzard, right? And I'm making a game for Blizzard. I think that I think Blizzard should care enough for, and you would think they would care enough about investing in people after they've been around for 2 years or a year even.
But
Um, I think it's a little strange, because you would think, oh well, if they made a game, they know how the system works, they know how our system works, they know how things work, they're integrated. I don't have to spend another 6 months or however long acclimating another developer to the system and to the workplace. So I think it's a little odd, to be honest.
so the biggest argument I've ever heard from employers about contracting employees and not converting them to full time is, oh, it's cheaper.
Oh, well,
And
I
it's like,
mean, bottom dollar. Yeah.
but that's the thing. That's what we're led to believe. And if I go back to those contractors we had, it was three of them, and $50,000 each, $150,000, but we paid $1 million for the contract.
Where's that
Guess
money
who
go?
got the rest of that money went to? It went to the
Their
contracting company
company.
and the shareholders. So those people got no benefits. They got no paid sick time, no paid vacation. That's it. They just got the $50,000 a year, and that's all. So that kind of thing is abusive, and companies hide behind, oh, contracting is the be all to end all. It's so much cheaper. In the long run, it isn't, because even when you factor in adjusted salaries for what they should have been making, when you factor in the pension contributions and the healthcare benefit contributions, it would have been less for all three of those employees than the $1 million
Yeah.
that was paid. And it's just an excuse to not look after people, because a lot of companies have they have one pile of money, of course, but they have multiple budgets they work out of, and they'll allocate X amount for, operations and maintenance, X amount for, or Y amount for, safety or something like that. And then, Z amount for travel and, whatever expenses. And one of those piles of money that's taken is for pay. And people like to keep that pay pile low because it makes shareholders happy when they see that they're not paying as much in salaries. So when you're paying a contractor, you're not paying him out of the pay budget for all your full-time and part-time staff. You're usually paying it out of your operations budget, or
Mhm.
your a different expense budget. So on your annual
Y-
returns and stuff, you get to write it off as a business expense rather than a paid employee position. And apparently, my phone was on make noise. I do apologize.
Yeah, it's just
It is
operating
only
costs at that point, and and it looks better to the shareholders, and it looks better on paper. And I
exactly.
mean, it does. And I mean, and that's it's a shame that people are just numbers. But I think that those companies, if we look at Activision, Blizzard, whatnot, I mean, those companies are on the decline. Um, they have all this market liquidity and everything, and these millions of dollars, but they can't. I don't think it's gonna last. I really don't, especially with everything happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and what I do like and I really appreciate is that message that Microsoft put out, saying within 90 days of the completed purchase of ABK, Activision Blizzard King, they want to get down to the bargaining table with Games Workers Alliance, which is the QA, the Raven Software QA department's union, and get to the negotiating table right away. That to me is one of the most encouraging things possible for the gaming industry and the IT industry as a whole, because it means that the employer, in this case, it would be Microsoft, is looking to make a better environment for their employees. And to top all this off, this week has been nuts with people getting unionized all over the place. I've been super ecstatic, and Games Workers Alliance Albany, New York, is a new union that's filing for certification with the National Labor Board. They're a whole bunch of QA analysts as well. They've all voted to unionize, and I can't wait for that to happen for them. So it's going to be absolutely amazing for them to get unionized, because QA and customer service, or CS, get shit on. Let's
Oh
be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Your customer service is the first person to receive the screamy phone call about shit not working, or billing not going the way it's supposed to, or whatever else. Quality assurance gets overlooked because, well, you guys don't do anything. You just sit there and they tell the coders that the stuff is bad. Well, QA is what keeps your game running or your software running. Like, you don't screw with QA. It's like screwing with a cook. Don't piss off the person handling your food.
It's quality
And
assurance. It assures your quality. Can we have that,
exactly.
please?
And I did see something this week that also made me super excited, and that's a little tiny game studio called Tender Claws, and their uh, employees announced that they were forming the Tender Claws Human Union, and 100% of their eligible employees have all signed cards saying they want to be represented by Code CWA, which is Commercial Workers Associate or Commercial Workers of America, and Code happens to be their IT digitalized subcomponent or subgroup of employee or of union represented people, and that's fantastic. And I'm really happy for that. But I was excited to read the following statement from Tender Claws themselves. Now, keep in mind, if you look at the actions of Walmart, you look at the actions of Starbucks, uh, when places have decided to unionize, the first thing that happens is those stores get closed, citing whatever bullshit reason you want. Usually it's, oh, they're not bringing enough money. Tender Claws, the game company, released this statement, which I'm going to try and pull up, that is not quite pulling up because my Discord is slightly broken. One moment here.
I'll help you find it. Hold on.
Oh, I have it. It's just I couldn't click on it because Discord is broken for me. So this is their official statement on finding out their employees decided to unionize. Tender Claws is a small studio that has made an outsized impact on the industry, something that would not be possible without the creativity, talent, and commitment of our employees. We're extremely proud of all we've achieved together and are grateful to work with like minded people who are eager to explore art, technology, and human connection. We've worked hard over the years to make Tender Claws a supportive place to work where employees have the flexibility they need to pursue their own artistic, commercial endeavors, learn new skills, and repeatedly return to work together. The Tender Claws Human Union will no doubt have a positive impact both within and beyond our walls, and we are thrilled to recognize and work with the union, collaborating to make Tender Claws the best working environment it can be.
That's a
And that
real
is
good
from
feel-good statement.
Danny
I
and
like it.
Samantha, who are the co founders of Tender Claws. And as a unionized person who has seen all kinds of bullshit, especially with ABK, on trying to stop people from unionizing, this is the only appropriate response a company should ever give. And it is the best one I have ever seen. And I could not be happier for both the employees and the company themselves. And it's just amazing to see that this week.
I agree. It's a real good feel-good,
Mhm.
feel-good statement that Tender Claws had put out, and yeah, I'm absolutely on board with the idea of keeping these companies accountable for how they treat not only their internal staff but their contingent staff as well, being contractors and contractor companies. Um, it's it's interesting. The topic that really got me was, and I experienced it myself, was low pay, but these huge contracts have these huge budgets. So where does it go? I mean, don't get me wrong. It was really nice getting breakfast burritos once a month, but that's not where you get millions of dollars, right?
Well, and breakfast burritos aren't going to pay rent. They're not going to pay mortgage, right?
No, but you won't be hungry that morning because you can't afford to live. So why not?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, unions, I think, are underappreciated in today's world, and we've been beaten down by employers for so many years. With everything about unions. They take so much money a month from your pay, uh, and that's one of my favorite anti-union tactics is to say whatever your union dues are per year, they like to make it sound like it's going to come off per month. It's like, no, that's not how this works, you idiot. And then you run into situations like what ABK did, which was take all the Raven software QA's people and take them out of their department and quote unquote integrate them into business units. That's a method of splitting people up so they don't talk together in the hopes that they don't organize. And it's nice to see Microsoft step up to the plate and say, yeah, we want to negotiate with them. We want to get to the table as quick as possible. To see Tender Clause come forward and say, hell yeah, we can't freaking wait for this. This is going to make us even better than we already are. And I think we need to really start impressing upon people in any industry, in any job, whether you're working at McDonald's flipping burgers, you're cleaning staff at a high school, it doesn't matter. Whatever job you're in, unions are good and they protect you, the employee.
Just a little bit of history here in the U.S. It wasn't that long ago, and I say that in a sense of 1900s, 1800s, whatnot, maybe 1920s. I can't remember. Industrialization. There was a time where the company would take care of their employees as far as retirement and healthcare, and it was all kind of bundled in as hey, and they kept their employees for the longest time. It's not so much that anymore, which is when all the real unionization actually came through. And you don't see a lot of it. You don't go up to any organization and get a job there, and they just give you the things that you need to live after you're done or while you're currently in their care. And I say in their care because that's what they would do. Your medical bills were taken care of to a point. It was an interesting dynamic. I remember, I don't hear the word pension anymore. Not here in the U.S. Not at all.
Yeah, it's rare.
I'm actually kind of jealous of your Canadian pension.
I'm very lucky. I'll say that much because there are some companies that do offer pensions, but there's not a lot of them. It's easier for a CEO to walk away with millions and millions of dollars than for them to sit back and say, you know what? I don't need this much money. And if I forego this much money, I can allow my employees to have a savings plan to retire on. And we've let and enabled corporate greed go too far, and shareholders, unfortunately, are to blame for a lot of that. And me being a shareholder in a company somewhere else, not in the gaming industry, I'm part of this problem where we vote for compensation packages for CEOs and executives that are exorbitant, and we aren't thinking about employees themselves doing all the work.
Well, since we're talking about in the scope of Activision Blizzard King, now Kotick, I think he's actually one of the highest paid CEOs out there, if I remember correctly. Or at least Jim Sterling has pulled some light out about that.
I would maybe like to see him bathed in lava. I mean, what?
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so let's do a comparison, right? You've got the president of Nintendo Japan, or the CEO, right? And you've got Kotick, the CEO, on our side, where I believe I think it was Nintendo, the CEO would actually sacrifice their salary so that way their employees could continue to live and prosper because there's just too much money. And there has to be that division, to be quite honest. Having these multi-billionaires actually exist is kind of pissing me off. Because who needs that kind of money? Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to have that kind of money. I would love to just walk down the street yeah, I could use a car right now because I'm on foot. That would be great. But do we really need to have a asset number tagged to us in the billions at all? I mean,
exactly. What can you actually do with that much money? Not a whole lot. It's too much money to even spend, really.
Yeah, I think even Bill Gates says he's going to give away 90% of his wealth. That still leaves him with an entire truckload full of money.
Yep, Warren Buffett. I think that's who it was. He said he wants to get rid of all his money by the time he dies. I'm actually going to just double check that.
Go for it. But I think, honestly, putting a cap on how much CEOs and all officer level employees or anybody, there has to be some limit. I mean, don't get me wrong, managing a global company, it's going to require some compensation. They don't just sit in their office with their big fat Cuban going, yeah, well, I'll just pass this off to this other officer and have them do it. And it just goes down the chain, which, I mean, it does happen that way, but they're traveling, they're talking, they're promoting the business. They are working for the business and the shareholders, which is why they're elected that way. But do they need $500,000, $750 million salaries?
No. And
Hmm.
actually, I
Nope.
was right. Warren Buffett has promised to give away 99% of his wealth when he dies.
I mean, that
Um,
still leaves hundreds of millions of dollars for himself, for his kids. So good for them.
yeah, I mean, it's going to give his family an absolutely massive leg up on anything to do for the rest of their life. However, considering his wealth is in the billions of dollars, giving away 99% of that, that's not a bad thing. Like as of 2022, it's estimated that he was worth about $117 billion. So
Indeed.
sorry, go ahead.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean,
And to give away almost all of that is, I mean, by most um, CEO standards, that would be insane. Like, why would you ever give away all that money? It's like, well, who the fuck can actually use that? I mean, that leaves him with $1 billion or $1.17 billion left over for his family and anything else that he decides to do with it. But at the same time, he gave away like $116 billion. Like, holy shit.
I got to say something about that real quick, and this is just before our topic switch, and we'll wrap
Yep.
this up. So, if you think about it, I mean, I'm pretty sure that capitalism is prolific everywhere. The problem with that is, depending on if you're in a rent-controlled market or not, or anywhere, which is the problem that like Austin, Texas, the major city hotspots is having with IT businesses in their area, is the fact that the salaries are higher, so it drives up the cost of living to unreasonable rates. Right? I mean, it's no longer based on availability of housing; it's based on how much are people willing to open their wallets to get someplace to live, and injecting that kind of money out there increases the barrier to how much folks can actually charge. I don't know what his plans are. Hopefully, he gives it all to some charity or splits it out between all the charities or whatever. That's just an insane amount of money. Have somebody like just write the checks and send it on. But that's the problem I see. You're taking a bunch of money that's been holed up inside of your pocket, and it's like, we'll just release it into the wild. Fly, money, fly. And now the entire. I mean, if Buffett kicks the bucket and gives away almost all of his wealth, he may crash the entire world. I mean, think about it.
I wouldn't say that because, I mean, the trade between your country and my country is over $1 trillion anyways. So $1 billion here and $1 million there is not going to have a huge impact. But what it will have a huge impact on is if it goes to the right places. And I mean places that provide healthcare access, places that provide housing access, employment opportunities. Those types of charities and foundations could benefit the most, especially science ones as well, because that can help us the most. If people can know that, out of the $116 billion he's given away, a whole chunk of it is going to end up going to, say, charities or foundations that provide low income housing. Think of how many rent controlled or rate controlled low income housing units could be built with that kind of money. How much access to healthcare could happen, how much access to dental and vision care could be happening for people with that level of money being injected into the right places. And I think really that's what I'm hoping for personally, is that when this money is given away, it's given away to the right people instead of, like you said, just flooded into the market to be spent all over the place and not really have a good impact.
Well, if anything about Warren Buffett, he's certainly got some money sense. So let's hope he.
Yep.
Well, I don't even have to hope. I'm pretty sure he's going to do the right thing, for the people, but not to the people, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Well, that's if the globalists allow it.
Hey, I don't care what they say. We can eat them. They will taste like chicken.
I mean, I mean, that's if we're not all eating bugs by then, let's be honest.
Thankfully, that's unlikely to happen in my country.
I mean,
because
well, no, maybe not yours, but I mean, there's a lot of that being pushed right now in the media is if you look at like, James Corden and all these actors that go on and start pushing all these, kind of wacky things to to normalize them. And I mean, hey, you do what you want to do, but just don't try to make me do what I don't want to do.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Unions, they're good for everyone. You should push for one. Everybody
Yes.
should know that you need to hold your employer accountable for the things that they do and make other people do. It shouldn't be a
Sorry.
frat boy shop. Oh, go ahead.
Enigmatic Gaming.
No.
Hey, grasshoppers basically taste like steak. God damn it.
Well, they do sell chocolate covered ones, so
I've also had a scorpion lollipop, a lemon flavored scorpion lollipop. Literally had a small baby scorpion on the inside.
Nope. Too close to a
Yep.
spider. Nope.
Yep, eat it.
Yeah,
Chunk.
anything with more than 4 legs can die in a
Crunch,
fire.
crunch.
If it's got more than 4 legs, it's not a friend of mine.
So yeah, union's good. Anything else you want to say on this topic, Boom or Amy?
I agree. I mean, everything's pretty well been laid out.
I have the perfect segue to our next item, and that is unions also protect employees against harassment,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
internal harassment, which leads into the next segment where we are going to be talking about how Bungie is suing a Destiny 2 player for providing cheat software and threatening staff.
The cheating conversation, man. That's one thing, right? Those exist. It's hard to track them down, and there's been histories of companies going after, they're just ruining their bottom line, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, and that's fine. Some of them have been successful. Some of them have been for naught. They're just throwing money at litigation against people. But this for Luca Inkcell Leone.
He's so fucked. Can't wait.
Oh man, like he's going to come to court, and the bailiff is going to hand him a jar of Vaseline, and it's going to be hilarious. He's not even going to get a pillow to bite down on. It's
So I read part of that litigation, and they have 13-ish claims against him for harassment and violent threats. Like, he was actually at one point threatening to burn down Bungie HQ.
yeah.
And it's
Pro
just
tip,
like,
everyone: you don't say stuff like that, especially in a public forum, at all.
yeah, like, holy Christ. So the lawsuit is amazing to read. It is one of the greatest things I've ever read in my life. And Bungie does a really good job of giving a background on this guy. They talk about his ban evasions. He ban evaded like 13 times, I think it was. He has threatened employees. He's provided wall hack software. I was checking to see if he did any aimbots. I don't think he did. But Bungie goes over in the lawsuit every part of the license agreement that he has violated. And they go over every single account that he's created and every account that's been banned, including the dates that they were banned on and comments he's made. And he also went to Twitter at one point making, threats and whatever else. And they recorded all that, and they have all that in the lawsuit. And at one point, he tweeted, and this is on section 3, Leon's threats, point number 54. On May 18, 2022, Leon tweeted an image of an employee badge belonging to Dylan Gaffner, one of Bungie's community managers, with the hashtag new profile pic. Excuse me? Like, how fucking close did you have to get to this poor guy to get that image? And B, why the fuck are you doing that? And then he also tweeted a smile. I'm sorry. He also tweeted out later. I just realized I'll be moving to a place that's 30 minutes away from DMG. Dylan Gaffner. I guess M is his middle initial or middle initial. He was using the initials for Dylan Gaffner. Like, holy Christ! You're targeting an employee with threats, and he
Who
even
probably
responded
hasn't
to his
done
own.
any. I mean, hasn't done
Sorry.
anything to this poor kid. Hasn't done anything to this kid. So
Yeah, and like these are like in Canada, these would be uttering threats, and this would be criminal behavior. I'm not sure how much that would be covered under free speech laws in the US, but in Canada, that's uttering threats and that's criminal behavior. And then when he responded to his own tweet saying he's not safe in reference to Mr. Gaffner, that is also criminal behavior. Like, holy Christ. Uh, so Bungie is looking for some really, really good justice. Um, they're looking for a jury trial. And so the plaintiff Bungie is demanding a trial by jury to so everything in their lawsuit can be dealt with. And the funny thing about the way I've learned about the way the US works with jury trials, you tend to get awarded way more money. Also, what they want is to permanently enjoin or prevent this player from harassing the employees, stalking, or otherwise engaging in unwanted or unsolicited contact with Bungie, its employees, or Destiny 2 players. They want restitution and damages, not limited to compensatory, statutory, punitive damages, and all other damages permitted by law. Like, they are throwing the fucking book at this kid, and good on them. And that ends my rant for now, because holy shit, this kid deserves it, and good on Bungie.
amen.
Yeah, I mean, globally, you really shouldn't be saying the things that he said or any of the toxic stuff.
Jesus.
I mean, it's I mean, there are teenagers out there, killing themselves because people are telling them to, and and they've also, they're developing depression and things like that because of whatnot. But we're doing this to actual people, the people that make the games we love to play, and in his case, the games we love to cheat at and make money on. And as you know, I think they ended up locating this guy because he's a black market seller of emblems, of all
Yeah.
things. And I guess he used his email account, and then just from there, it was cheese. I mean, it's like, oh, we
Do you know
found
what
you.
the worst part was for these emblems? One of them was an emblem that was exclusive to people who donated money to a charity.
Oh,
So he was selling this emblem that was impossible to obtain unless you donated to a charity. And like, how scummy do you have to be
yeah, that falls under
to?
stolen valor. Like, honestly.
I don't know if that would apply to Canada, because stolen valor in Canada means you're, pretending you're a military person.
Well, let me put it this way. I say stolen valor because that's exactly what it is here, but think about it. If this thing is exclusive to folks who did a good thing, and that's the only way you could get it, that means people could get it whether then that didn't do it. So it's one of those rarities, which probably jacked up the price, of course. But
Well, what he was doing is he was ending up going to a website. I won't name the website. It is in the lawsuit document. You can go look that up. But it's a website notorious as a marketplace for stolen accounts and other criminal fraud. He was an active seller on there, and he sells Instagram and other social media accounts because apparently that's a
wow.
thing.
Mhm.
He was selling a lot of these emblems to people. Now, the thing is, these badges or these emblems can't be traded for the most part. So that meant he was selling these emblems to people for basically hacked accounts or stolen accounts or fraudulent accounts. So people were knowingly buying uh, inappropriately acquired product or emblems, which kind of makes you wonder about the ethics and morals of the people buying it, and we'll slap them with a rotten tuna later. Um, But it was the donation one that really, really pissed me off because that one could only be done through this charity. And give me a second here. I'm trying to find that charity. Can't find it quickly, so we'll skip over that. But basically, it was mentioned in the lawsuit that there was a charity donation you could only get this one emblem from, and he was selling this emblem, which meant he fraudulently obtained all these emblems that he was just selling away. And good on Bungie for suing the fucking shit out of him.
Yep, like to the point of like, if you do this again, you're screwed. Not that you're not already screwed, but just don't.
Exactly. And like I looked into what your laws in the States allow for someone who's enjoined. Basically, the word enjoined, if you're not familiar with the legal term, means banned, prevented, not able to do whatever. So because he was going to be enjoined or banned from anything and starts selling again, starts providing cheats or harassing employees, he's going to jail. Like for you guys, that's a criminal offense, and it would be something similar in Canada. It's a criminal offense, and he's going to go to jail if this lawsuit goes through and they win. If he ever does anything like this again, he's going to jail. And fuck yes, that kid deserved it.
I would like to comment on that, and that is fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the horse he rode in on.
With an excavator?
With an excavator, exactly.
Yep. Fuck him with an excavator or C4, your choice. I don't care.
Nice. Well,
I mean, I'm not violent, honest. I am a barcode.
There you go. them sensual black bars you have there, Mr. Barcode. But
that's where I hide the C4, sir.
Well, yeah, they'll never search there. But
no.
So if that's the case, we'll end on fuck that guy and the horse he rode in on with C4 and an excavator. So good job, Mr. Inkcell. That's so close to insults. It's ridiculous.
I think that's the point. I think that's what he was going for, and that just leads me to just really want to slap him with a rotten tuna.
Yeah, well, there you go. So let's just talk about a game that's been making some really good waves in the news right now, and that is Stray from the developer Blue 12 Studio, released by Apurrna Interactive. So, have either of you had a chance to actually get your hands on this game and play?
I have not played. I have watched.
I have not even had a chance to even look at it yet. I've heard some really good things about it. I think Lumi, you said you were playing it this week.
Oh yeah, I picked it up. I played a good hour and a half before I had to adult. And what's interesting about this game that I picked up right away is that it is a third person type game, right? But you're not a person, so nothing's personified. You're a cat. Like, I can't tell you how loud I squealed when I saw press B to meow, and I just repeatedly press it.
That'd be amazing.
And it was really cool. And you're a cat, and you do cat things. So you interact as a cat. Like, you start out, and you're with cats, and they do cat things. Like, they lick each other, and they clean themselves. They go and they search for food and explore and whatnot. But as you progress, you end up inside of the city, being chased by what looks like really cartoon cute head crabs from Half-Life. And they jump on you. And real interaction actually happens when you get your fancy little robot. Mind you, I'm not spoiling anything about this game, because that's just a major mechanic of the game, because this is your communication. Apparently, this robot speaks cat and will tell you things to do. Right.
Well, in the future, anything's possible.
Absolutely.
So I got a question for this game, since you've played it and the rest of us haven't. As a cat, you can meow, correct?
Yes.
And you can lick things, correct?
Oh, and you can scratch up TVs, posters, you name it.
Okay, cool. Now, can you go sit on a counter, look at a human, look at a glass sitting on the counter?
You can't do
that. Yes.
Look at the human again,
You can't do that.
and slap it off the counter.
Oh yeah, like one
Can't do that.
of the mechanics that they introduce to clear off a ledge, there are paint cans which you have to
no.
lightly bat, and it really is an adorable game. It absolutely is.
Oh my god.
No looking at humans, though, as far as I understand.
Any game that lets me willingly look at a human and then knock their favorite coffee mug on the ground, shattering it into pieces, I'm all in on that.
So, what makes this game important? I mean, other than being great game design, right? It really makes you put your mindset in a cat. You can only do cat things. You're not some cyber warrior. You're not a space marine. You're not playing grocery store simulator. You're not doing any of that. You're a cat. You do cat things, and you go on an adventure with a robot, and it's adorable. It's sweet. I know that they're talking about the biggest complaint is that it's too short, but I think the short adventure of just being a cat for that long is probably worth it. So. Apurrna Interactive and Blue 12 Studio have given a few charities copies of Stray to give out to raise money. Yes, to raise money to help the shelters. I think one of the ones that we saw was the one in UK, which is for what is that? Possum Players? No, it was Cats Protection. Hold on.
Yeah, Cats Protection doing the Possum Players streaming fundraiser.
Yeah, that would be
cats.org.uk.
Yeah, and I think they gave it to Nebraska Humane for Cats or Humane Society for Cats or something like that. Yeah, no, like they gave back. And mind you, it's a $26 game, but hey, you know it allows folks to donate what they want. Perhaps maybe getting more than this $26, and it goes straight to the cats. I'm not sure about Canada, but we have pet problems here for people who buy pets because it matches their shoes and purse, right?
Yeah,
and
it's a shame.
And once they become not of use, they'll just drop them off places, which is the saddest thing. I saw a video on TikTok where this dude found a kitten and was like, "Oh, here you go, buddy." And like, as soon as he picked up the kitten, the other kitten was like, "Hey, that dude's cool.
Me?
Like, come see me."
Are you talking about the dude who saw it on the road and then like this swarm of kittens came out of the brush?
Yeah, dude. Like, I saw that, and I can't pet every cat. It played in my head.
I need to.
So
let me pet the kitties.
So I think that's worth noting and mentioning vocally and acknowledging that's a good move. Like, I'm very happy about that.
It is. That makes me happy.
And if you are a pet owner and you are a good pet parent of a critter of any size or flavor, they also have pet gear offered by, let me get the name of that company real quick. Travel Cat. And they have a harness that you can equip your cat with. It looks like the same harness that the cat in Stray wears. So it has like the little pocket up top, which looks like the place where your little robot sits. And there's also this interesting looking space age cat travel bag with this giant bubble and air holes, so you can take your cat with you wherever you go. So I thought that was really cool that we're seeing more of this things. Because I mean, come on, if you get Assassin's Creed, I don't think they're, well, no, they do have Assassin's Creed themed things, swords.
Yeah, you can get swords and figurines but not something that you can really, not something tangible. I mean, I think Cyberpunk had a jacket, but yeah, no, that's on the next level of video game merch, crossover kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, just let's put it in the perspective of like, when's the last time you saw dog meat themed merchandise that was for your pet?
Right.
Yeah.
Never, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not even when I had a dog.
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
So it's a great way to support this great developer. And you have a dog meat statue. Can your dog wear it?
I mean, if you try hard enough.
I guess so.
Apparently, Kurt Chicken has a dog meat statue for you listeners on the podcast.
So, but yeah, it's great stuff. Other than that, anything else that you want to bring up close to the end? We've hit unions
Sorry,
and game
I
developers.
I
Yeah.
kind of took over this episode.
Well,
I'm
well,
sorry.
here's the thing about that, Amy. You're the one that's closest and are actively with the union, right? And you would be the best one to talk about this. I was with
It's
a
true,
union
but
for like 4 months, and I told you my experience was that. I was like, oh, thanks. I'm in this union, and they're unionized, and they took my hours. Thank you, I guess. But
I unfortunately have not been in a union, so
right,
it's funny. Once I got into union, um, it's been very difficult for me to look elsewhere without a unionized position. My personal biggest thing is if I work somewhere that is not unionized, I had better not fucking find out that the woman beside me or the person of color beside me is getting paid less than me and doing more work and being assigned more work than me because I will fucking lose my mind.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's the other part about it too. The entire conversation about not discussing your wage with other folks, and that's between union and non-union. Like there should be a standard. Is like if you're going to do this job, and this job is worth at starting out 55, 60, 70, 30,000 dollars a year, whatever it may be, that's where you start. That's what it is. I don't care if you're an intern, and interns is a whole separate subject. We're not even get into that, right?
Unpaid internships need to end. Wait,
That,
what?
yeah, no, like yeah. So
Pay everyone.
we hit up the unionization, specifically with Activision Blizzard King. We've talked about shitbag Inkcell that is going to get the long draw from Bungie, and we talked about Stray and Kidders and having a good time. So, other than that, let's do a quick roundtable. Any final thoughts before we talk about what we're doing for the next week?
no.
No? All right. Amy, what do you got planned? What do you got in the pipes for that people should
Oh
know
my.
about?
I'm still playing Star Trek Online. I'm trying to get the last of my unlock for the uh, summer ship that's available. It basically looks like a giant jellyfish, and I can't wait. For those of you who've watched Star Trek the original series, you'll remember the giant space jellyfish. It's that ship that's available. And I did a thing, and she's in chat. You can all blame Crit Chicken for this. I I may or may not have resubscribed to WoW, and I
Nah.
may or may not be leveling a holy
Shame,
priest.
shame. Oh,
Oh,
a holy priest. That's even worse, dude.
well,
You got to go discipline. I love Bubble Priest. That's just the
I
only way to
mean, if
play.
you're not playing Pally, are you really even playing WoW? Let's be honest.
Why
Oh,
did Bod time her out again?
that's the stupid stream elements
You got to be
bot.
careful with your punctuation,
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's all caps.
or actually too
It's
many
all caps.
caps. Too many
Yeah,
caps.
she said he said the thing is
all
what
right.
she said and got tagged
Well,
for it.
There
so
we
are
go.
you ready for the new expansion? By the way,
Dude, okay, so I have not played since Legion when
I
the
haven't even
guild I
played
was
since
part
Legion.
of, we stopped playing. Basically, I was in a world PvP guild trying to do mythic raiding.
Mm,
Um, it's very difficult because the guild members are used to instant gratification of RBGs and stuff where you get your loot right
mm,
away. They're not used to wiping 1,000 times and then doing it 1,000 more times just to finally get that one piece of loot. So they put in a valiant effort for World PvP Guild. I think we got 4 bosses down before I was finally done with it, and before the expansion was finally done. Um, so I haven't played since Legion. I picked up my Demon Hunter, and she can attest to this. Um, I picked it up. I hadn't even installed any of the add-ons. It was just the basic Blizzard UI, and it had not changed in how the Demon Hunter, like the Havoc Demon Hunter, plays. It
mm.
was still 1, 2, 3, 4, and then either 5 or 6 is either Meme Beam or Vengeful Retreat to back up.
Right.
Otherwise, it's the same 4 fucking keys. And I think only once did I do a Fell Explosion, and Metamorphosis. That's it. It was the same keys all over again. I'm like, holy shit, this has not changed. So she plays Alliance, and I'm rolling this Holy Priest, and I've never played Holy Priest before. I've played Warlock, specifically Aflock, because it was fun just to run around like the duck screaming, Aflock! And I've done Demon Hunter. His name is Demon Tard. If you ever see him on Shadow Council, he's probably backing up into fire. That's normal. And then I did a Pally that I leveled for the sake of learning how to heal. But otherwise, I have not played a lot of the classes, so this is my first Holy Priest, and oh my god, what in the hell? But it's all her fault. I am back to WoW because of her, and also because of Microsoft acknowledging the union and wanting to talk and get to the CBA. Because I had a couple conditions. Unionization was one, and I'm happy to come back.
You know, just what would be nice would be if they offered a WoW subscription with Game Pass. I would be totally down for that. That would make that thing infinitely more powerful. I absolutely hope they do. Yeah,
that would actually save that would probably save WoW, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
it's funny. So many people say WoW is dying all the time, and then you look at the SEC filings for ABK, and it doesn't really. The language of the filing never suggests that WoW is dying. So
I don't know. I can only see that, you know, somebody says it and there's some person swimming in money going, "Oh no, we're going under."
Nobody likes Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, don't do that shit.
Gaming.
Anyway, anything else, Simon?
Other than that, I'm a glutton for punishment, as was said in chat, and I'm back in WoW, still playing Star Trek Online. Shit posting on Twitter and harassing Russian government accounts. Nope, got nothing going on.
All right. Well, if I ever decide to come back to WoW, let me know what server you're on. I'll bring Luminary, the Night Elf Druid Bear, and we'll go wreck stuff.
What's funny is now they have cross-realm play on everything, cross-realm grouping.
Well, then fuck that. I'll just, if I ever decide to re-up my subscription, which will probably be not anytime soon, I'll bring out the bear, level them up, and we'll go beat the crap out of some raid bosses.
Okay, so you'll be bear tank, and I'll be your pocket healer, apparently. Oh, no.
Oh, bear tanks, man, it's all about that dodge. Mr. Boombody, what is going on with you? What's coming down the pipes? What should folks know about?
Unfortunately, not too much. Tinkering around with some crafts, but mainly just a lot of therapy and trying to sort out the back and whatnot.
All right. Yeah, your health is absolutely important. So when you do decide to return to content creation, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I miss seeing your giant wizard hat and everything. So
it's planned. It'll be coming hopefully here in the next few months.
Yeah, I think Enigma has also got some back stuff going on as well. So yeah.
Speaking of back issues, where can you buy new back? I need one as well.
I mean, I don't know. They had to just cut on mine and hope for the best. So
you know what? Do we have from Futurama? You guys have all watched Futurama, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
If you haven't, too fucking bad. I really wish we can get to the point where we can all be like Richard Nixon and just be a head in a jar.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have to worry about my fucking back being busted.
Absolutely. Just put my head in a jar. Interface me with the computer, and I'll be fine.
Exactly. Fine. And then all these billionaires we can grind up into Torgo's executive powder and feed us that.
Oh man, that's great. All right. Well, as far as I'm concerned,
oh no, I'd love to get a robotic spine, man. When is Daddy Elon going to invent one? Ew, gross.
Daddy Elon's still got
don't ever say Daddy Elon ever again. I am going to throw up.
Look, he's the closest one as far as I'm aware of, unless someone's hiding some stuff in the back. Like, bruh. Yeah, you can brag me all you like, but I mean, he may be a meme cringe lord, but if he gets the job done, I mean, hey, you know,
turbo cringe lord.
I mean, I have seen the pictures of him on the yacht. That's true. It's pretty bad. I'm not even that pale. Holy fuck.
Oh, look, 100% distilled cringe.
Oh, yeah, I saw that picture too. He's built like a Tesla truck.
No, Tesla trucks shine a little bit less.
And they're full of holes. Oh, no.
Well, onward to me. What have I got coming down
What
the
do you
pipe?
got going on?
Well,
On that note,
they just released the expansion for No Man's Sky, and I bought that game at release, and I thought it was rather neat. It was a great adventure. Was it a great game? No, it wasn't. But it was a great adventure trying to figure out and work with all the glitches and seeing all the fucked up monsters and whatnot. It was all the memes that came out from that, where they were showing the side by side from the release trailer versus what you got, and having that Jurassic Park like terrible accordion playing, like that. It's no longer that. From what I understand, it's really good. I believe
It's
the
pretty well polished.
was it Sinan is currently doing that with his crew in between doing some PvP stuff outside of No Man's Sky. But I think that's what I'm going to try to do. Try to get that up and see if I can.
because you did slide that game my way.
Yeah, I need to get with you and see if you want to do that. I don't know how many people can multiplay at a time. I know that they have a hub. I'd have to go look and see what's going on. So it's going to be a lot of exploring and figuring out what's going on, because you do start off the game crash landed on, and you have to rebuild your ship and get back to space. So yeah, that's step one. That's cut a hole in the box. So you know what step 2 is.
Well, you put your ticket in the box.
Absolutely.
I
Other
was just
than
going to facepalm through that, but
Well,
here we are.
somebody had to say it, and the beard wizard
Look,
got
I
it.
unironically like Rick Astley. Okay, like you come at
Well,
me. Come at me.
I'm just imagining the next TikTok video we put out. You put your dick in the box.
Mhm.
God damn it.
That's all right. Wait until we have her open the box. So
Oh no.
or him, depends on who you are. So yeah,
Yeah.
so No Man's Sky. Of course, I'm going to be reviewing footage and creating more assets and shotgun blasting social media for our wonderful podcast, the UDP Broadcast, and get this out, get the word out, and make sure people come and listen. Don't forget to follow IMEI on Twitter at IMEI21. Don't forget to follow and subscribe and harass Mr. Boombody on Twitter at Mr. Boombody. And of course, go follow his channel. It's twitch.tv, Mr. Boombody. And I'm all over the place. Look for Lumi. Look for the hashtag UDP Broadcast, where most hashtags are served, and you should find us, or silly documentation about networking and servers. So,
Who cares about the networking stuff? You want the broadcast podcast. We're cooler.
That's
Way
right.
cooler.
That's right. And we thought of it first, and it's not, yeah. So we're the
Yeah.
UDP Broadcast.
No, we're not totally stealing that from an RFC somewhere. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. So I guess technically our full title would be the UDP Broadcast Podcast, but UDP Broadcast will probably be just fine.
It just sounds better.
So, all right. Other than that, that's all we've got. Any final words? If not, chat, do you have any questions?
I wonder what the delay is today. Sometimes it's like
It's
6 or
not.
7 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah, I've got Twitch on was it low latency, and I put YouTube on normal because they will auto caption what we're saying for those that are hearing impaired.
Oh my. I am now going to turn beet red because of chat, and I'm going to hide under a desk.
Yeah, for those listening at home, Jaime was told that Crit Chicken loves Jaime. So there you go.
Yep.
What's
Yep.
what's
Goodbye.
so
Turn
what's
beet red.
interesting about that is that Amy, the way she does it, because she doesn't use the cap, looks like she misspelled Lumi. I'm like, I don't know this. Who is she? Why is she going to tell me
What
stuff?
the-
Yeah. Either way,
Why am I getting left out?
either way, you can
She's not
find
your
our
girlfriend?
you can
That's
find
fair. That's fair.
you can find our
I'm going to go hide under a desk now.
You can find our broadcast podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, and the VOD should be available on Anchor FM /UDP Broadcast and on my YouTube channel, youtube.com, Luminary Weekly, and a playlist hosting all the VODs. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and may you have a great week coming forward.
Yeah. Consume all the things, whatever they happen to be.
Well, you're almost out. You got to go make more, and it takes months.
I know. I can always buy some in the interim. I do have beer.
Ooh, beer. All right.
We'll have to do an episode on beer.
I think it would be interesting. That's just like a crafty thing, and I would love to do like a craft episode at some point because I've got my hands on all kinds of crafts. So
Yes. Okay,
I
and we
make
know what we
crafty
got
things
for next
too.
week.
there we go.
See you later, chat. Have yourselves a good night.
Adios.